Hello, and welcome back to more Everlasting Summer. Today, I am going after Alisa's route, as the poll has directed me towards. I am streaming, like I usually do Everlasting Summer nowadays, and I have decided that the boathouse is a good choice to go to, not only because Alisa is here and it will advance me in the plot, because I have to do that to kind of get on her route, but also because a nice boat will make everybody happy. No matter what kind of person you are, I'm sure a boat can just rustle your jimmies in all the right ways. So, maybe Shirk decided to pick up stones near the water. In the worst case, he'll be dead, and I'll find his corpse, of course. But I'm sure that it won't be that way. No way. I was crossing the square when someone called out to me. Probably should move my mouse out of the way. There we go. Wait! Alisa came up and smiled. Oh wow, plot twist. I wasn't expecting her to show up here. I immediately sensed the trap. Star Wars meme inserted here. Where are you going? I was gonna search for Shark. Ogre Michia that like told me to do so and stuff. Oh, and how was it going? Is it exciting? She looked intently into my eyes and I turned away awkwardly. Oh, not really, you know, it's decent and yeah. But you know, Pioneer's missing and stuff, he could be dead. Surely you're not freaking out over such a minor thing. What do you mean? Only a few hours have passed. This reminds me exactly of what I said back at the time when they said that Shirk was missing. They don't seem to care about anyone else who's missing as well, only Shirk after a few hours. So, Alisa's same mindset as me, but maybe he lost track of time while having a walk. Certainly had the same idea, but I wasn't telling her that. Yeah, that is true. But who knows what could have happened? He could be underground in that old, like, built shack that looks like Heavenly Host and has a mine underneath of it, but no one would have ever suspected that. But let me help you with it. What? With what? I got suspicious. With looking for Shirk, of course. Oh, but I can do it alone, thank you. But not thank you. Oh, come on. She smiled at me, but there was something malevolent in that smile. Something that wanted something else. Naturally, her smile was cute, though, but it really seemed to me there's something behind it. Well, if you insist. Since I could not understand what's on her mind, I had no real reason to refuse. But before we go, I have to get one thing from home. Okay, I'll wait right here just for you. You're actually serious about just standing there? Let's go! Okay. We approached Alisa's cabin. It would be just like all the other cabins, not for the Jolly Roger on the door. Is that what that skeleton head is? Whatever a Jolly Roger is, it reminds me of a Jolly Rancher. And I'm sure she did not just stick an old Jolly Rancher onto her door. That would just be unsanitary on many levels. By the way, Oyana is my roommate. Okay, I knew that from an alternate version of myself, actually. Hi, we entered the cabin. The complete chaos inside really reminded me of my old flat. Though, why I thought of it as old. In general, I would imagine a girl's room differently. Snow white sheets, walls, the floor, and ceiling shining spotless. But then you remember that this is Alisa and Oyana's room, which that wouldn't make sense for them to have like cleanly rooms. They're like childish at heart. But when it considered the two most exemplary pioneers are living here, exactly what I just said comes into play. We just stood silently for some time. What did you need to get? Huh? Seems like I interrupted Alisa's thinking. Yeah, she needed to get a little bit of a button going on. It's not here actually. Well, I'll be back here in a minute. She smiled and ran outdoors. She seems really flaky today. I began to examine the room because, I don't know, why not? I wouldn't say that there had been an explosion. It was just a decent mess. Well, at least by looking at all this mess created one Pioneer session, I could surely say I'm not the messiest person in the entire world. The decoration of my apartment took years to be completed. It took years, and it was a skill to get it that dirty. I wasn't thinking about my another in particular, was just looking around the room. The posters of Soviet artists, some books and shelves, various household items. And then there's like that one guy on the right there that has quite a gigantic head, especially the guy on the left. His body is like half the size of his entire head. That is a bit weird. It is kind of messing with my mind. So I guess I will just ignore it for now, and I'm going to realize that everything is wrong. Something will happen soon. Something will happen soon, and something bad. Why did Alisa leave me here all alone? There was something I had to discover. My gut told me it's dangerous to stay here. I went to the door and tried to open it. It was locked. For some reason, the door's locked on the outside. Whoa! That doesn't even make any sense. Why in the world would a door lock on the outside? Unless she put like some sort of tree branch or some gigantic wall outside of the door. That would make sense. But otherwise, that is a weird, no, why would you do a door like that? What a surprise! How did she manage to quietly lock me in? I don't know what's on her mind, but I need to get out of here like now. The window is a prime suspect. I went to the window, opened it, and climbed out just like I just said 5 seconds ago, because Semyon is apparently myself in anime form. Now I can go and take care of business, or I chose the second option and waited. Is that a net? Did she like lay a net up against the door and it blocked me out from going outside? I don't think so, but it's humorous to think of such a thing. I chose the second option and waited. What is the reason she had locked me up? She was planning to come back in some sexy lingerie. I wanted to know what was happening. Plus I really wanted to see Alisa's face when she finds her room empty. I hid in the bushes next to the house and waited. After some time, I heard footsteps. Alisa and Olga Dmitrieva came to the house. Why'd you bring Olga here? You'll see everything for yourself. She opened the door and went in. After a few seconds later, she ran back out. Oh, what was she planning? I don't understand. You know, Alisa's face looked like she just won a mouse catching competition, but at the last moment found out that it's not a real Olympic sport. So he just disappeared, huh? Olga Dmitrievna asked skeptically. I did the right thing by closing the window after myself. Oh no. You know, I understand everything. Just you and your roommate every time the same thing. Haven't you had enough yet? Question mark and an exclamation point. But it's true. Really. One story after another. Semyon in your cabin. Semyon harassing you. Why you keep lying? That is bad and horrible. Alisa seemed really upset, and to my surprise, was not even trying to argue even a little bit even. On one hand, it was funny to look at, but on the other, I felt a bit sorry for Diskapashpa. She deserves it though. And then she turned into some sort of ultimate Tsundere Super Saiyan form. Our leader finally finished scolding her and left. Alisa was mad. She clenched her fists and trembled. Her face flushed. It seemed to me that she was going to explode all over the place. I sat in the bushes and laughed quietly. However, I was wondering what was on her mind that came out of hiding place not afraid to be beaten. So what exactly did you want to show the leader? Tell me I'm ready. Me? Alisa turned and looked at me in disbelief. After a moment, surprise turned to angriness. You! You! What about me? She calmed down a bit. I wanted to take revenge. For what? For what? Really, what did I do to this girl to warrant revenge? You beat me in cards. What a fantastic reason. No doubt. That is amazing. I see. She is one sore loser, that because I beat her in cards by clicking a button, she went out and locked me into her cabin so that she can go tell Olga Dmitrievna that I was harassing you in some form of way. Maybe I should apologize to you because I pressed the button and it was the wrong button. I asked sarcastically. I should have said it in like a super sassy. But I'll say this in a super sassy. Screw you. She went into the house slamming the door. I wasn't angry at Alisa. In the end, I'd expected her to do something like this. Anyway, I got through it without consequences. I was very lucky. Her confusion and embarrassment just made my day. Chuckling, I left Alisa's cabin, which was about to become my death trap. Okay, with this very intense music that just calmed down into some sort of funky drum rhythm, I am going to pick Alisa to go with me to Heavenly Host Elementary School. In the best of fashions, actually. It'll be great. This funky music will give us motivation along the way, and this Vishkpa goes with me. If Olga Dmitrievna has read my mind, it was as if she did. Oh, why is that? Well, who tried to blow up the monument, you miscreant low-life person creature? As if that wasn't enough. Who tried to slam the Semyon, you miscreant low-life creature? She said in such a voice that Alisa did not dare to argue. She just stared with that one eye that kind of stares into my soul, cutting it in half and maybe even into fourths. Happy now? She blurted once we were left alone. What do we have to do with this? Was it me who tried to blow up the monument? No, I did give you the stuff and I knew what your intentions were to blow up the monument, but no one else knows that, okay? Not even that car who drove by me. He has no clue about my motivations. Alisa grunted and turned away. I'm not going anywhere with you, not doing nothing. You are not gonna have me. Oh, please do not even. Great then. Excellent. We stood silently for a while, not even looking at each other. I dared break the silence first. Is that all? All what? All, Alisa. All that you wanted to tell me? Yes, that is all. Do you mind then if I inquire why you tried to blow up the monument? Oh yeah, this is a thing I never actually got to learn. Oh, yeah, maybe I did. I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe I didn't. It wasn't really a high priority on my mind, but maybe I'll get to learn. I was bored, she says. The greatest motivation is boredom. Ah, right. Blowing it up would have definitely cheered you up, especially if it like fell onto the ground and made everyone else sad. Maybe crushed a few benches. That would have just been the highlight of my day. Alisa seemed reluctant to go with me. As for me, however, I decided to find Shirk after all. It wasn't him who interested me the most, but the abandoned camp. For some reason I had a feeling that I might just find out something there. And I really did not like the idea of going alone at night. So you scared then? Are you daring me? You dare me? Ha! She gave me a sarcastic smile. Oh no, I would never even dream. Good luck if you're staying then. I turned around and started walking in the direction where the old camp should have been. Alisa caught up with me at the forest edge. Wait up! I'm going with you. I'm here. Why did you deign to change your mind all of a sudden? I asked ironically. You do not need to know, you pig! She snarled and handed me a flashlight. That was quite wise. I don't know what I would have done there alone in the dark if it wasn't for Alisa. Electronica told us the old building was built right after the war. It looked like a kindergarten or like a barracks I expected, and definitely could hold fewer pioneers than today's camp. It had abandoned for about 20 years. The night forest was completely unlike during the day. Unlike? What? Night? Unlit? Is it supposed to be unlit? Unlike? I don't believe that's a noun or a verb. I don't think that's a way it can be a verb. I don't know what I'm thinking. It cannot be an adjective, I think. Is that what I'm thinking of? Something like that. It cannot be that. I think it's supposed to be unlit. Just a couple of hours ago, it seemed like just a small grove where even a blind man wouldn't get lost. However, as the darkness fell, the trees seemed to grow up. The bushes suddenly took all free space, and the path, so wide in daylight, turned to barely visible waves in the dark green forest ocean. The final strokes to the picture were the birds and the insects and the beasts who were giving a concert, each in his own instrument, creating together an amazing yet frightening nocturnal symphony. We walked slowly, Alisa a bit ahead of me in her wake, trying not to fall too far behind. She acted self-assured to a fault. Absolutely not like me. Every rustle of bushes nearby or hoot of an owl overhead made me cringe and look around timidly. Of course, it was obvious that there was not much to fear here. The local woods weren't even really likely to be teeming with wild beasts in a little bit and stuff. And it seemed like there was no people at all in this world, apart from those in the camp. However, the fear was there on the instinctive level, and I tried to walk carefully and to stay as watchful as I could. Discretion is the better part of valor, after all. Alisa stopped suddenly in her tracks in front of me. I nearly walked into the back of her and we both nearly fell over, but it stopped, and we picked ourselves up, and she stopped again. So suddenly that I knew— oh. Look at that! You see, I have to be the persona of Semyon. I predict the things before they happen. Oh my gosh. I am him. I am definitely— it's either I've been playing this game way too much and I know exactly what's gonna happen, or I am actually Slavia inside the game here. Now where? What? Well, straight ahead, I guess. Are you sure? No, I tried to figure out all the directions. It looks like we're going the right way. Or at least the way suggested by electronic. However, without a map, without a GPS or GLONASS, I wasn't even sure that we were still on the same planet, wherever it was. What in the world was a GLONASS? I don't know. Is it like some sort of upgraded GPS or something? Like a Google Maps? I don't know. We haven't taken any turns. We've been walking straight forward all the time, just as electronic said. Then why haven't we made it into the old camp yet? How in the world am I supposed to know that, you young lady? Alisa's rude way of talking was already getting on my nerves. Are we already lost, you Baka? Why would you say that? We are barely a kilometer away from the camp. So what? She looked visibly sadder. So nothing. If you don't like it, you can go back. Alisa eyed me disappointedly for a while, then her face changed sharply. Well, I will then. She suddenly turned around and started marching briskly back towards the camp. I, of course, seeing that she was sad and has some sort of emotional roller coaster going on, turned around and chased Alisa down and picked her back up. No? Okay, I just tell her good luck. I shouted as she was going. However, Alisa may be right. We all are in fact lost. In which case it's not a good idea to stay here alone. And I shivered as the cold night breeze blew stronger. But going after her had me losing face, even worse than admitting she's right. No, I'm not ready to accept that. I could have probably spent until morning arguing with myself about this, if it weren't for Alisa's scream. My legs carried me on their own towards where she went. About 20 meters on, I fell nearly into a hole, just managing to jump over it at the last moment. Well, there goes Alisa! She fell into some sort of trap, maybe made by not Alisa, but Oyana, just for, you know, funsies and stuff, because she is that prankster type of girl. She fell into it, though. I was about to point the flashlight into the darkness when I realized that she'd taken it with her. Well, that had to be expected. Are you alive? The best question to ask when someone falls into a hole. Yeah. Her muffled voice sounded up from below. Did you break, like, any bone in your entire body? Heck no, if I didn't, you Baka! Oh, did she say, I know? Okay, she did not feel any damage whatsoever. A light flickered in the hole. I stepped closer and bent it to examine how deep it was. The crumbling hole went about 3 meters into the depths, but it was pitch black below. Help me get out now! Find some sort of vine, drop it down in there, and carry me up out of it like my savior. Alisa yelled angrily though. How could you imagine I could ever do something like that? I am just a semiot, I am nobody. I don't know. Think of something, you Baka. Well, what do we see now? Describe it. Well, it's sort of a tunnel and... Nah, it's just a tunnel. A tunnel? That is weird. Oh, come on and get down here! Is that the best idea you have? I'd rather run into the camp for a rope. No, I would definitely rather jump into this hole because the Heavenly Host thing is kind of a bit annoying by now because it's the exact same thing. You just follow, you click the left, right thing, find Shurk, you're over. It's really annoying for me since I've done it so many times. Getting into a hole and going through some sort of random tunnel in the middle of the ground seems to be a better thing by all standards. Especially for me. I would enjoy just jumping down and having some sort of fun, hopefully not breaking your ankle or any sort of bone in your body. But, you know, the price for fun is a high price. Maybe you need to break a few bones to do that. You're going to leave me alone down here? You have no sense of thought. Alisa's voice lost much of impudence. But you're alone down there anyway. Hey! She cried out loud and directed the flashlight right into my eyes. Well, don't panic. Trolls aren't gonna eat you there. I'll be back in a flash. No! You jump down there! You jump it! You fall! You be good! Man, Alisa was screaming herself into a fit from down below, but I couldn't make out the words. However, I only managed to make a few steps before the ground yielded under my feet. Before I knew it, I was tumbling down as well. Of course. What in the world is going on here? I grabbed a thin root that somehow slowed down my fall. But it broke as well and I fell. Of course. Again, because of the noise, I predicted it before the text even flew in front of me. Dots. You alive? Sarcasm. Oh my gosh. I barely opened one eye as I felt a seeing spotlight upon me. Whoa! I'm put away! Alisa was squatting next to me and looking at me in a nervous manner. Any limbs broken? I don't know. I can't tell if she's trying to be serious or if this is supposed to be, like, really sarcastic. Because if it's supposed to be sarcastic, I am losing it right now. It's perfect. I moved my hands and feet. Everything seemed to be fine. Given the height, I was pretty lucky to make it down alive. I barely managed to stand up and examine the crash site. Indeed, we were in some side of long corridor. There was some kind of heavy wiring along the walls and lamps encased in heavy metal holders attached to the ceiling. In any other situation, I would have guessed it's the subway surface tunnel, but it was hardly likely that Sylvanok has already reached such a level of infrastructure. Where are we? She says with that pouty puppy dog face that looks really cute. I don't know, but we have to get out of here. Climbing the crumbled wall was hardly an option. In fact, I was wondering how we even survived the fall from such a height. Well, it seems that we've got to find an exit somewhere else. How do we do that? I don't even know. Why ask me? I fell into a tunnel. I don't know anything about the tunnel. Best we can do is walk down it. Just keep on walking, Alisa asks, slowly turning pale. Not a single trace of her usual arrogance remained on her face. Well, I guess there's gotta be an exit here, right? Oh, probably. But which way do we go? Is there gonna be another left-right puzzle thing? That's a good question. At first glance, it seemed like a good idea to head towards the camp, at least in the direction I thought it was. But I hadn't seen anything that resembled an exit from the catacombs. And that means that we should rather try the opposite direction. Gimme that! I snatched a flashlight from Alisa's hand and pointed its light into the darkness. That way. Oh, this is basically the exact same CG that Yana had, but with a really weird Alisa face. It looks like she is completely frightened or something. Or maybe she's just always surprised or something. It looks... I don't know how I feel about that face. We are proceeding slowly forward with Alisa keeping a firm grip on my hand. But as the CG shows, she is not looking like she is holding my hand. It looks like I'm holding out my hand, just like, hey, you can hold this. I want you to. And then Alyssa's like, no, you Baka, why would you want that? I don't even like you. And she doesn't grab her hand. My bruises from the fall were aching. The blood was pulsing in my head like a heavy pendulum. Even the flickering spotlight that kept illuminating the same cement walls continually wasn't exactly raising our morale. Dang. There's also Shurik. What? Why did we go into the night forest in the first place? To find Shurik. Oh, just forget him. We gotta find ourselves first, man. He might have fallen down here just like us. Of course, Alisa has a point. This wasn't exactly the best time to engage in a search mission. If we don't manage to get out, there will be a search. Oh my gosh! Ugh! I always wondered why Shurik actually came down here and was inside of such a weird place, but now I know. He fell into one of these random potholes in the ground that led to here, apparently. I don't know why he would be wandering a kilometer off the site in some sort of random forest, but apparently he may have been. Maybe I'll find this out eventually. But he did, and he fell into this hole, and then he turned insane, of course, and found a metal pipe that he kept as his brethren until he finds me and smacks me in the face with it. Apparently that is the storyline so far. Oh, did I read this? Of course, Alisa has a point. That was actually the best time to engage in a search mission. If we don't manage to get out, there would be a search mission for us instead. But I couldn't just take my mind off this thought. It was as if Shurik was standing right before my eyes, giving me a reproachful look. Look out! Alisa yelled. Oh, it's the Fallout 3 door. I almost crashed into a massive metal door, even though I was looking forward with a flashlight illuminating the door. I nearly walked into it somehow. Oh wait, hey, there's like, look, there's this thing. I'm trying to read. There's some sort of comic. It looks like someone is flexing. Maybe this is some sort of health manual. Maybe this guy is doing some sort of CPR. This looks like some sort of straw. Maybe they're sticking into the dog or some sort of chicken. I don't know. Like, if only I could read Russian, I would know what the title of this is. But okay, I'm getting sidetracked with something I have not seen before. Which is a good thing in and all its own, but not particularly at this point, because we're supposed to be not dying. I almost crashed into a massive metal door, for the second time actually. A biohazard sign immediately caught my eye. That means we're in a bomb shelter. I mumbled under my breath. Yeah, I've heard of something like that. You have? Why didn't you mention it before? And how would I know it'd be important? Well, I guess you're right. Fine, you're great. I grasped the door's wheel and pushed it in as hard as I could, trying to turn it. The rusty metal grated, but refused to budge. Stop slacking! Help me! Alisa hesitated a little, but then grasped the handle and started to pull. Finally, I managed to turn the wheel and open the door. It was hard to mistake the room we entered for anything else. It was definitely a bomb shelter. Cabinets full of gas masks and dry rations, lots of equipment, bunk beds, and air recirculation systems. There was everything one would need to survive in a nuclear war. Well, at least to survive the first blast. Alisa clenched my arm even tighter. What is it? What in the butt? She blabbered under her breath. This is not the time for making song jokes. Or, South Park jokes. I'm scared. What are you scared of? Indeed, what of? We tumbled down into an abandoned bomb shelter. Now we're wandering here in the dark, trying to find an exit. Oh yeah, nothing to be afraid of. Those thoughts made me squirm and I instinctively drew nearer to Alisa. She didn't say a thing, she just blushed a little and turned her back to me. Well, in any case... Whoa. We have to keep searching for an exit. Well, there is another door, strategically placed right outside of this door. Indeed, there was a door on the far wall, just like the one we came through. We need a crowbar, though. No matter how hard I tried to open it, it was stuck. I decided to get a crowbar or Alisa's help because she seems like a strong lady. No, it's jammed for good. I glanced around the room, trying to find something that would work as a lever known as a crowbar. Great! Alisa gave me a blank stare. Watch it and dig it. However, I still couldn't move the handle an inch even using the crowbar. Totally exhausted, I flopped on the newly made bunk and gave a sigh. I'm going to sigh as well, because I thought the crowbar was obviously going to be the answer to our problems, but apparently not. So here cues the sigh. And now it's time for the regularly scheduled text boxes appearing. We have to walk back. But we just came from there. Alisa seemed to regain a bit of her self-control, as well as her usual rudeness. Well, you can stay here if you want. There's water, ration kits, probably a radio still working. She looked at me spitefully, but said nothing. Though the face kind of, again, cut my soul into probably fourths, maybe eighths this time. My whole body ached terribly. It was now that I tried to relax and began to realize how badly... What? That was the end sentence, right? This had to realize how badly. I had to realize. I sat down this. Now I understand the badly. I do. The badly is now an enigma. It's no longer an enigma. A deep wound in my leg was bleeding profusely. My hands were heavily bruised. Blood was thickening in my hair. And are you okay? I asked Alisa, either just out of courtesy or because I really worried about her. It took her some time to answer. How can we be okay in a situation like this? Well, I mean that. I pointed the wound in my leg. Oh, cried Alisa. We need to sanitize it urgently. No, I'll survive. No, stop. We must do it, or you're just getting infected and they'll say your cut leg off. My granddad lost his leg that way in the war. Alisa looked truly concerned and I decided not to argue. Okay, that's kind of a long way to the infirmary. And she'd probably just flirt with me instead of actually giving me a bandage. I don't even think she has a degree in the nursing. She's more of a porn star. Hang on. She smiled and started to rummage through the cabinets. There was a fair chance of finding some kind of medicine in a bomb shelter, and soon enough Alisa pulled out a first aid kit with a triumphant look. Okay, hold still. Well, I'll try the best I can. Treating the wound with an iodine-soaked cotton swab felt like the touch of a red-hot iron. I clenched my teeth hard and hissed with pain. Oh, come on. It's not that painful. It is. Maybe you should try it yourself. It was easier than my other wounds, and soon enough I looked like a leopard, all covered in brown spots. Thanks. Don't you think that was anything special? We just had to treat your injuries. Oh, look at her blushing face. She's blushing so hard. Alisa snorted and turned her back on me. Sure. I refrained from arguing and got up from the bunk. Even a short rest had definitely been good for me. Well, shall we go? Yeah. Alisa clenched my arm, walking close in step with me. We headed back slowly, carefully looking for a hole in the ceiling. Our tunnels seemed endless. We couldn't find the place where we fell down, not after 5 or even 10 minutes. Are we lost? Alisa asked sadly. It might be possible to get lost in the forest. It just came to me that it's exactly where we'd accomplished half an hour ago, so to refrain scarring her even further, I continued with confidence. But this is a single straight tunnel. You can't get lost here. So where are we gonna end up then? My words didn't seem to calm Alisa down enough. We'll get out of here. There's always an exit. Oh, really? Of course there is. The workers that built it somehow got back up to the surface, didn't they? Well, yeah, I guess. It appeared that she was trying hard to look as bold as usual, but it wasn't turning out well. In the dim light it was evident that Alisa was shivering. A look of extreme exertion was plastered on her face. Fine. Let's move forward. In a few minutes I noticed the hole in the floor. Oh, we're here. We just basically skipped the entire the building, walking into the building. So, we're here now. The left, right, left, endless button pressing is going to appear any minute now. In a few minutes, I noticed the hole in the floor. It looked like a shell crater, large enough to get ourselves through. What's down here? Oh, heck if I know. It's just a hole in the ground. I kneeled and pointed the light downwards. Damp ground, some kind of rail tracks. Must be a mine. Not yours, it's mine. Alisa looked at me questioningly. Of course, we could easily sidestep the hole, but my instincts insisted that we wouldn't encounter anything good proceeding down the tunnel either. There would be either a dead end or yet another jammed door. But as I can see in the CG, there is obviously a rubble blocking that tunnel there. So, yes, there's nothing there. On the other hand, it was naive to believe that they would find an exit in the mines. We could give it a try, and the worst case would just come back. It's slow enough to let us climb back up later. Her face took on a suffering expression, and Alisa turned away from the light and quietly said, "If you say so." Dots. As I thought, we were in a mine. Miles of rust-eaten tracks stretched far and down the corridors. I could virtually see the overloaded minecarts creaking along these tracks ages ago. The walls were propped up by rotten beams, and water occasionally dripped from the ceiling. I wasn't sure whether it would scare your hero in the catacombs or the bomb shelter above. I'd say that up here is like a post-apocalyptic setting, and down there cold medievalism reigned. In any case, I was even more eager to get out of here, and to do so ASAP possible. Alisa didn't utter a word after we descended into the mine. She just walked next to me, clenching my hands so hard I started to worry. "Are you alright?" "No," she said quietly. "I understand that it can't be okay, but how are you holding up?" "Fine," she replied with an indifferent voice. "That's good, because I really wanted to say because if you go nuts too, it's gonna be a massacre. Because we will find an exit. We'll definitely find one. Yeah." It seems she wouldn't last much longer. "We should go faster." I quickened my steps and reached a fork a couple of dozen meters. "Well, so which way?" Alisa seemed to have completely disconnected from the outer world and didn't worry what would happen to us or how we would leave this place. "Well, let's think. To the left or to the right? And what if we get lost? They're gonna put a mark on the wall. It's happening again. We're ready to go. Gosh darn, these buttons, they are the bane of my very existence. Ugh!